It's time now for the West Holmes Knights Football Weekly Preview Show, brought to you by Home Siding Contractors.
West Holmes saw their 5-game winning streak come to an end on Friday night on Military Appreciation Night into the hands of the Lexington Minutemen by the score of 41-7. I'm Mac Roy alongside Jake Sato, and for West Holmes taking on Lexington, the Minutemen, of course, the two D1 commits, that being quarterback Joe Caudale, committed to Michigan State, connecting right off the bat with Georgia commit Braden Fogel, of course, for 54-yard touchdown connection, and really never looked back from there.
And I think we saw just why Lexington has two guys going to D1, not just that, going to the Big Ten and SEC. They came out here and kind of punched West Holmes in the mouth right off the bat, and the Knights never really got a chance to recover.
Look, at those two guys, that'd be enough, but also not just them. Seven Allen, a talented receiver. Markel Martin had 2 touchdown runs, so a team that really has a lot of guys you have to account for.
And they did their homework. They were prepared for exactly what the West Holmes defense was going to do in this game. And I think they knew coming in here that this was going to be one they had to be on upset alert for and make sure they didn't lose it if they want the OCC crown. And they came in and took care of business.
You know, West Holmes, their bread and butter offensively, being the running game. Brody Bowman, 69 yards on the ground here. And really, after that, not a whole lot going. And give Lexington's defense credit. He will kind of slow down the West Holmes running attack.
And that was part of the issue. Like we said, West Holmes, they come in here, they want to establish that run. When you're not able to establish the run, it kind of limits what else you're able to do on offense. They know once you start getting down more, they're going to have to air out the ball, and they're going to have to try to get touchdowns in the air, and they just kept West Holmes off balance the entire game.
One positive was late in the game in the fourth quarter, of course, the 56-yard touchdown pass by Braden Parsons connected it with Rhett Cheney to get a touchdown. And, yeah, it doesn't change the outcome of the game, but something positive to kind of go off of that hopefully can give you some momentum going into this week.
I think it shows you just what this West Holmes team can do when they are able to make those adjustments. They finally see something that, hey, we can beat this and make the long throw, get the touchdown, and at least keep it from being a shutout. And I think as long as this is a team that can think on their feet, this is a team that can win ball games.
Yeah, bottom line, that's a tough loss, obviously, to a really good Lexington team, but you got to find a way to regroup as a team this week.
Especially when you're going to take on Coach Valentine and the Ashland Arrows. They're always put out a good team each and every year, and you're going to have to be on your toes ready for Friday night.
Knights will look to rebound this Friday night, taking on Ashland at Ashland Community Stadium. And alongside West Holmes Knights head football coach Keaton Leplaw, and coach, of course, nobody likes him, and everybody sometimes you have to go through some of those tough losses like you did on Friday. What are some things you're able to kind of take away from a loss like that against a very good Lexington team?
Well, I think the biggest thing for us is, kind of trying to get a reality check out of it. That, we had that 5-game streak, and, I think we coasted a little bit walking into that game. We thought it was, we're going to be able to come out and do what we want. We took a couple shots early and, weren't able to respond really on either side of the ball. I think the things that you can take from it is it's not like we played really well. We kind of fell back on some things that we used to do, some things that we haven't done since week 1. I think it's just, again, it's a reality check. It's a learning experience for our kids to understand, what the top end teams in this conference look like. And, really Friday we found out what not to do, but using the things, what not to do, and using them as, okay, here's what we have to do to continue to compete with the high level teams of our conference.
And in that sense here, maybe an opportunity here to kind of refocus here and be ready here for really a tough final 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, and it's a time right now where, it's control what you can control. We can only control what we're going to do this week versus Ashland. But again, it's going to be a good measure. It's going to be another good test. It's another good opportunity, to see where our team stacks up, and for us to be able to come out with a different mentality, and come out, we saw last week what happens when we come out like the way we did and how we play like we did. So this week we're looking to make, a complete 360, and come out of the gate a little bit different and have the outcome of this game a little bit different this week.
And you take on, of course, Ashland and Nathan Bernhardt, their quarterback, App State commit. We saw what he was able to do last year and what he's done so far this year for his team here. What stands out to you about him and what he had to do to kind of try and slow down that prolific passing attack?
Yeah, I think, for us, it's keeping everything in front of you. It's doing a better job of, not necessarily even getting home, but getting more pressure on the quarterback, making him feel the pocket collapse. I think the most impressive thing from them is his ability to locate the ball and his ability to command that offense. All their receivers do a really good job. They find that green grass. They find, where the holes are. They find the openings. And he puts the ball where it's supposed to be. So, for us, it's really working those coverage drops and getting your head on a swivel up front with that relentless pass rush. And then, he's going to make completions. He's going to make a lot of completions. It's about, mitigating, those yards after catch. So, he's going to complete a pass, but we need, as soon as that pass is out and caught, we need to have everybody on them and make them earn every yard, make them earn every point, that they get. So, with that offense, that's what you have to do.
In the end, you're probably not going to completely shut down an offense like that, right? That means you have to score some points. And we know what this offense is capable of doing. What do you have to do to kind of get back on track offensively?
Yeah, I think offensively, I think a lot of what it comes down to is our team didn't communicate very well last Friday, up front defensively. I think this week it's, one of the points that I'm making is this week's a week to reestablish our identity. It's not completely strip the thing down and retool who you are and come up with a new identity. But it's focusing more, it's communicating more, and it's about having more confidence and getting back to what we do and, competing at the end of the day.
In the end, as you mentioned, you focus on the game in front of you and the task of taking on Ashland, but there's still a lot to play for and everything really still in front of this football team.
Yeah, for sure. You say control what you can control because you never know. You never know what's going to happen in the rest of the year for the OCC. And then obviously, we had 10-0 was a goal, and OCC championship is a goal, and those are things that we don't really have control over now. The only thing we have control over is what we're going to do these next 3 weeks, and then if you do what you're supposed to, then you get into that second season, and just like we talked about last year, once that second season starts, you're back at 0-0, and it's up in the air what you're going to do.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time, and good luck here on Friday.
Thank you.
Jake Sano here with West Holmes, Chance Jackson, and Coy Beachy. Chance, we'll start with you. I know it's been a little bit of a rough start to the season, but you had a couple tackles, including a tackle for loss against Lexington. What have you seen this season?
I've seen a lot this season around. I've been a lot of positions. I played a little bit of corner at the beginning, then I got hurt. Switched to outside backer. So, I'm really just trying to make a fit on the team, play wherever I can, and do what I can for the team so we can win.
What are you working on to stay in there and get this defense to the best shape it can be in?
Just working every day, really. In the weight room, out on the field. Doing what I can to better myself, for not only for myself, but for the team too. So, just anything I can do to be better every day.
Coy, for you, you've had a great season on both sides of the ball. Over 200 yards receiving this year, 4 touchdowns, and you also lead the team in tackles. What can you tell us about your season so far?
It's been kind of good. Ever since week 1 against Triway, after that first hit that I made, it's just like going out there and playing ball like I did my whole life. Nothing has changed or anything like that.
What are you typically doing to get ready to excel on each side of the ball?
Every day we do ND drills at linebacker. You got Coach Mackey. I think he's a really good coach at linebacker because he taught me how to shed and stuff like that, and it's been helping me a lot getting off the wide receivers and make tackles.
You got Ashland this week. The Arrows always a formidable opponent. What are you doing specifically to get ready for Ashland?
Every day so far, I've been watching film, going over the plays, studying the plays, and been watching their film even more. And I just got to go out there and do my best like I normally do.
Chance, what about you? What are you doing to get ready for the Arrows?
Same, just watching film, out on the field, we're putting in work. Coaches, I think, are doing a great job this week at getting us prepared to, go out there and try our best against Ashland and hopefully come out with a win.
Okay, guys, thanks for your time. Good luck Friday against the Arrows.
Well, if you're in need of windows, doors, or siding, they have nothing but the best. The home siding contractors, and of course, if you need gutter protection, they do that too. That's right. They can stop by and give you a gutter assessment and replace all your gutters or some of your gutters, whatever you need. Make sure you reach out to them if they have that gutter protection and gutter assessment at Home Siding Contractors. They're located on State Route 39 in Millersburg or on the web at homesiding.com. That's Home Siding Contractors. West Holmes comes in this week with a record of 5-2 on the season. They're 3-1 in the OCC. They're on the road against the Ashland Arrows. The Arrows come in unbeaten at 7-0. They've now won 17 consecutive regular season games. They're 3-0 in the OCC. Ashland, of course, was the OCC champs a season ago. Coming off that 48-19 win at Mansfield Senior last week for Ashland. Of course, last year in Knight Stadium, Ashland led 28-14 at halftime over West Holmes. They went on to get a 56-28 win, of course, led by quarterback Nathan Bernhardt, an Appalachian State commit. He threw for 357 yards in that game, and the Arrows amassing for almost 600 yards of offense in that game to get that win. That would stamp a 4-game winning streak for West Holmes over Ashland for the Arrows getting that win a season ago. Alongside Jake Sato again, of course, Ashland led by Scott Valentine. You mentioned here, legendary head coach. He's got this program rolling once again.
You know, a couple years ago, he left, went over to Madison, and came back and really didn't waste any time getting the Arrows back into the form they were in his first tenure. And, you know, this is a team, we know what they want to do on offense, and we know they always have a formidable defense. It's when I used to work over in that area and got to cover the Arrows a little bit more, it was always they don't have to rebuild at Ashland. They're able to reload. He gets that program ready to go each week, and I think this defense from Ashland, they're going to have to keep an eye on that and really find ways to get that run game going this week if they want to have a chance to beat the Arrows.
I'll say, with that said, sometimes the best team is an angry team, and West Holmes obviously not happy after what took place last Friday. You knew this West Holmes team, they know what they're up against. They saw Nathan Bernhardt last year. They know this is a really good team. You got to believe this is a West Holmes team. They're going to be ready to go here against a really good Ashland team this week.
You hate getting a loss like you did against Lexington, but this is something that, like you said, they got punched in the mouth a little bit. They're angry. They think, you know, we still have a chance to prove we're one of the top teams, not only in this conference, but in this area. And I think this is an Ashland team that should be on upset watch for a little bit here. They are a very good team, a very formidable opponent, but this West Holmes offense, when they get the running game going, can be just as dangerous, and the defense just needs to get in there and be able to quarantine. I don't think that's the right word I'm looking for there. They need to be able to stop the quarterback and keep get through that line, not let them set up their running game.
Should be a fun one, no question about that, on Friday night. Don't miss it on FM 95.3 and WKLM-FM.com. We'll be live on the radio and the internet. We will be delayed on video, though, per Ashland on Friday, so we will have to delay the video. The video live stream will be posted right after the game is over with, courtesy of Claxon Communications, so don't miss that here for Friday night. Well, that'll wrap things up for us. For Jake Saito, I'm Mac Roy. Special thanks to Keaton Lepla, Coy Beachy, and Chance Jackson. And that's been this week's Knights Football Weekly Preview Show. It's been brought to you by Home Siding Contractors.
You've been watching the West Holmes Knights Football Weekly Preview Show, brought to you by Home Siding Contractors.